The night sky over New York City was clear and full of stars. 8-year-old Samantha Jones sat at her bedroom window, her small hands gripping her new telescope. Her blue eyes sparkled with excitement as she scanned the heavens. Suddenly, something strange caught her eye. A bright light, much bigger than any star, was moving across the sky. It was getting bigger and brighter. Samantha's heart raced. Could it be? Was she seeing a real spaceship? She ran to wake up her parents. "Mom, Dad, come quick. There's something in the sky." Her parents, still half asleep, followed her to the window. They saw it too. A massive object, now clearly visible, hovering over the city. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. News spread fast. Within minutes, the streets were filled with people looking up at the sky. The world watched in awe as the first alien ship entered Earth's atmosphere. The ship was huge, easily the size of 10 football fields. It was dark and sleek, with strange symbols glowing on its surface. As it descended, a hush fell over the city. Everyone held their breath, wondering what would happen next. Samantha couldn't contain her excitement. While her parents were distracted, talking to neighbors, she slipped out of the apartment. She had to get a closer look. The little girl ran through the streets, her pigtails bouncing behind her. She clutched her telescope tightly. As she reached Central Park, she saw the ship landing in a clearing. It was the most amazing thing she had ever seen. Without thinking, Samantha stepped out from behind a tree, waving her arms. "Hello," she called out, her voice full of childish wonder. That's when things went terribly wrong. A beam of light shot out from the ship, surrounding Samantha. Before she could scream, she was pulled inside. The ship's doors closed with a hiss. Inside, Samantha found herself in a cold, metal room. Strange creatures with gray skin and large black eyes stared at her. They were tall and thin, with long fingers that ended in sharp points. Samantha's excitement turned to fear. One of the aliens stepped forward, holding a device. It made weird noises, like it was trying to talk. Samantha didn't understand. She started to cry. "I want to go home," she sobbed. "Please, I want my mom and dad." But the aliens didn't understand her either. They thought she was some kind of animal, making strange noises. They decided to study her. They took Samantha to another room. It was full of scary-looking machines. The aliens strapped her to a table. Samantha screamed and cried, but no one could hear her. Meanwhile, on Earth, panic was spreading. The alien ship had vanished as quickly as it had appeared. No one knew what had happened or why they had come. Samantha's parents realized she was missing. They called the police, searched the streets, but found nothing. They had no idea their little girl was now far above the earth, scared and alone. In the ship, the aliens began their tests. They didn't mean to hurt Samantha, but they didn't understand how fragile humans were. Their machines were too strong, their tests too harsh for a small child. Hours passed. Samantha grew weaker. She thought about her home, her parents, her telescope. She wished she had never left her room that night. As the sun rose over New York, the alien ship reappeared. It hovered for a moment. Then a small object fell from it. The ship disappeared again, leaving Earth's atmosphere in seconds. The object landed in Central Park. When the police arrived, they found Samantha's body. The aliens had returned her, not realizing she was no longer alive. The world was about to change forever. Humanity had made first contact with aliens, but at a terrible cost. The death of one small child would spark a war that would shake the entire galaxy. The news of Samantha's death spread like wildfire. Within hours, every TV channel, radio station, and social media platform was talking about the little girl killed by aliens. The world was in shock. In New York, thousands of people gathered in Central Park. They brought flowers, teddy bears, and candles. A sea of lights flickered in the dark, a tribute to Samantha. Her parents, Tom and Sarah Jones, stood in the middle, tears streaming down their faces. She just wanted to see the stars, Tom said, his voice breaking. She didn't deserve this. As the sun rose, the crowd grew larger. People from all over the country were coming to New York. They wanted to show their support, to share in the grief, and to demand action. World leaders called emergency meetings. In Washington, D.C., the President of the United States stood before a room full of reporters. Her face was grim. "What happened to Samantha Jones is a tragedy and an act of war," she said. "We will not let this go unanswered." Similar speeches were being made around the world. In London, Paris, Tokyo, and every major city, leaders promised revenge. The United Nations called for a global summit. As politicians talked, scientists worked. They studied the few images they had of the alien ship. They analyzed the strange symbols on its hull. They tried to understand what they were dealing with. But the people didn't want to wait. Anger was building. In cities across the globe, crowds gathered. They carried signs that said "Justice for Samantha" and "Defend Earth now." Some people were scared. They built bunkers and stocked up on food. They thought more aliens might come. Others were excited. They thought this might be the start of a new era for humanity. In a secret military base, generals from different countries met. They looked at maps of the solar system and beyond. "We need to strike back," said a general from Russia. "Show them we are not weak." "But how?" asked another from China. "We don't even know where they came from." As they argued, a scientist burst into the room. He was out of breath, his eyes wide with excitement. "We found something," he said. "A signal. We think we know where the alien ship went." The room fell silent. This was what they had been waiting for. Meanwhile, in space, strange things were happening. Satellites picked up unusual movements. It looked like something big was coming. Back on Earth, Samantha's parents made a public appeal. They stood before a crowd of millions, their faces on screens all over the world. "We don't want war," Sarah said, her voice strong despite her tears. Samantha wouldn't have wanted that. She loved the stars. She would have wanted us to learn, to understand. But her words were drowned out by the crowd's shouts for revenge. The world had made up its mind. There would be no peace, not after what happened to Samantha. In labs and factories around the world, work began. Old projects were dusted off. Secret weapons were revealed. Humanity had been preparing for this day for a long time, even if they didn't know it. As night fell, something changed. People looked up at the stars with different eyes. Once, they had seen beauty and mystery. Now, they saw danger and enemies. The Earth was holding its breath, waiting. In homes and offices, in farms and cities, people felt it. Something big was coming. The death of one small girl had lit a fire in the heart of humanity, and that fire was about to explode into the stars. Little did the aliens know, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Earth was ready for war, and it would not rest until justice was served. The galaxy was about to learn a hard lesson. Never underestimate the humans. The world was in for a big surprise. Just when everyone thought Earth was helpless against alien attacks, a shocking secret came out. It all started with a strange message on TV. Every channel around the world showed the same thing. A countdown. No one knew what it meant, but everyone was watching. When the countdown hit 0, the screen changed. An old man appeared. He had white hair and a serious face. People recognized him as Dr. Alan Foster, a scientist who disappeared 50 years ago. "My fellow humans," he said, "I have a secret to share. We are not as weak as you think." Dr. Foster explained that he and other scientists had been working on a secret project. They knew aliens might attack one day. So, they prepared. "For the past 100 years, he said, we've been building a fleet of spaceships unlike anything you've ever seen." As he spoke, the screen showed amazing images. Huge underground factories, hidden beneath mountains and oceans. Thousands of workers building massive ships. It was unbelievable. "We have 700,000 battleships ready," Dr. Foster said, "each one more advanced than anything on Earth." The world was shocked. How could this be kept secret for so long? Dr. Foster explained that the project used special technology to hide from satellites. The workers lived in secret cities underground. Everything was done to keep it hidden. "We didn't want to scare people," he said. "But now, we need everyone's help." As the message ended, things started happening fast. In deserts, mountains, and oceans around the world, the ground began to open up. Huge doors appeared out of nowhere. And then the ships came out. They were beautiful and scary at the same time. Shiny metal, strange shapes, and powerful weapons. They filled the skies, more than anyone could count. People came out of their homes, looking up in wonder. Some cried, some cheered. It was like a dream. In New York, Samantha's parents watched with tears in their eyes. "She would have loved this," Sarah said softly. The president came on TV again. She looked as surprised as everyone else. "This changes everything," she said. "We are not victims anymore. We can fight back." But having ships was one thing. Flying them was another. Dr. Foster had thought of that too. He explained that they needed pilots, engineers, and soldiers. "We need the best and bravest from every country," he said. "This is humanity's fight. We must stand together." All around the world, people started signing up. Young and old, rich and poor, everyone wanted to help. Training centers were set up in every country. The ships were amazing inside. They had rooms that could make food out of thin air. They had weapons that could shoot through mountains, and they could travel faster than light. Scientists who worked on the project started teaching others. They shared secrets they had kept for years. It was like the whole world was going to school again. But it wasn't all easy. Some people were angry that this was kept secret. Others were scared of what might happen next. Leaders argued about who should control the fleet. Dr. Foster spoke again. "We don't have time to fight among ourselves," he said. "The aliens could come back any day. We need to be ready." His words made people think. Slowly, countries started working together. They shared information, trained together, and made plans. As days passed, the fleet grew stronger. More ships were built. More people were trained. Earth was getting ready for a fight like never before. In space, the ships started doing test flights. They looked like stars moving in strange patterns. Anyone watching from far away would know. Earth was not hiding anymore. The aliens had woken a sleeping giant. And now, that giant was ready to show the galaxy what humans could do when they worked together. The day had finally come. Earth was ready to fight back. The massive fleet of 700,000 ships hovered above the planet, a sight that filled everyone with both awe and fear. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the flagship, the Samantha's Revenge. She looked at her crew, a mix of people from all over the world. They were nervous but determined. "Today," she said, her voice strong, "we show the galaxy that humans are not to be messed with." The plan was simple but dangerous. They would attack the nearest alien outpost, a space station orbiting a distant moon. It was a bold move, but Earth needed to make a statement. As the fleet prepared to jump into hyperspace, people all over Earth watched on their screens. In New York, Samantha's parents held hands tightly, hoping their daughter's death would not be in vain. Admiral Chen gave the order. "All ships, prepare for jump. May God be with us all." In a flash of light, the entire fleet disappeared from Earth's sky. Seconds later, they appeared near the alien outpost. The element of surprise was on their side. The alien station was huge, easily 10 times the size of Earth's largest ship, but it was not ready for an attack. Alarms blared as the human fleet surrounded it. Admiral Chen's voice echoed across all channels. "This is humanity's response to your unprovoked attack. Surrender now, or face our wrath." For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the station's defenses came to life. Laser beams and strange energy weapons fired at the Earth ships. All ships, engage, Admiral Chen ordered. The battle had begun. Earth's fleet moved with surprising grace. The ships danced around the alien weapons, their advanced technology allowing them to predict and avoid attacks. Captain Miguel Rodriguez led the first wave. His ship, Quetzalcoatl, fired a new type of weapon. It looked like a ball of lightning. When it hit the alien station, entire sections went dark. "It works," Miguel shouted. "Their systems are shutting down." All around, similar scenes played out. Earth ships, thought to be primitive by the aliens, were overwhelming the station's defenses. But the aliens fought back hard. They launched fighters, small ships that zipped between the larger Earth vessels. It was chaos. In the heat of the battle, a young pilot named Aisha Khan saw a weak spot. The alien station had a large antenna, probably used for communication. "Admiral," she called, "if we take out that antenna, we might cut them off from help." Admiral Chen agreed. "Aisha, lead a squad. Take it out." Aisha and 5 other ships broke away from the main battle. They dodged and weaved through enemy fire, getting closer to the antenna. Just as they were about to fire, a massive alien ship appeared out of nowhere. It was heading straight for Aisha's squad. "Evasive maneuvers," she yelled, but it was too late for one of her teammates. The alien ship's weapon turned the Earth vessel into dust. Anger filled Aisha. She thought of Samantha, of all the humans who had died. With a yell, she pushed her ship to its limits. She flew straight at the antenna, firing everything she had. The explosion was blinding. When the light faded, the antenna was gone, and so was Aisha's ship. "Aisha, come in," Admiral Chen called. But there was no response. The loss of the antenna threw the alien station into confusion. Earth's ships pressed their advantage. Within hours, the battle was over. The station was under human control. As the news reached Earth, cheers erupted around the world. Humanity had won its first battle against the aliens, but the cost had been high. Admiral Chen looked out at the damaged ships, thinking of those who didn't make it. "This is just the beginning," she said quietly. "May we be strong enough for what comes next." The galaxy was about to learn a harsh lesson. Humans were a force to be reckoned with, and they were just getting started. The celebration on Earth was short-lived. Just 3 days after their victory, the alarm sounded. The Galactic Empire was coming, and they were angry. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of her ship, watching as thousands of alien vessels appeared out of nowhere. They filled the sky, more than she could count. "This is it," she said to her crew. "The real war begins now." The Empire's ships were bigger and more advanced than the outposts they had defeated. Their leader, Emperor Zix, appeared on all of Earth's screens. He looked like a tall, blue creature with 4 arms and eyes that glowed red. "Humans," he growled, "you have made a grave mistake. Surrender now, or be destroyed." But humans don't give up easily. President Maria Rodriguez of Earth responded, "We will never surrender. This is our home, and we will defend it." And so, the greatest battle in Earth's history began. The Empire's ships attacked from all sides. They had weapons Earth had never seen before, shooting beams that could cut through mountains. But humans had some tricks too. Dr. Foster's team had created special shields that could absorb energy attacks. When the alien beams hit them, the human ships got stronger. Captain Lai Wei led a group of small, fast ships. They zipped between the big alien vessels, causing confusion. "We're too small and quick for them to hit." He laughed as his team took down a huge enemy ship. On the ground, things were just as intense. The Empire had sent troops to Earth's surface. They thought it would be easy to take over. They were wrong. In New York, a group of teenagers used their video game skills to control defense robots. They pushed the aliens back, street by street. In the Amazon rainforest, tribal warriors worked with high-tech soldiers. They used blow darts with special poison that could knock out the alien troops. The aliens never saw it coming. But the Empire was strong. For every ship Earth destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. The battles raged on for days, then weeks. Admiral Chen hadn't slept in days. She was worried. "We can't keep this up forever," she told her officers. "We need a new plan." That's when young scientist Aisha Khan, yes, the same name as the pilot who died, but a different person, came up with a crazy idea. "What if we could turn their own ships against them?" she asked. At first, everyone thought she was joking, but Aisha explained her plan. She had studied the alien technology and found a weakness. With the right computer virus, they might be able to hack into the Empire's ships. It was dangerous. Someone would have to get close enough to the Emperor's main ship to upload the virus. It could be a suicide mission. Admiral Chen looked at her team. "Any volunteers?" she asked, expecting silence. To everyone's surprise, Samantha's father, Tom Jones, stepped forward. He had joined the fleet, wanting to honor his daughter's memory. "I'll do it," he said, "for Samantha." The plan was set. While the main fleet distracted the Empire, Tom and a small team would sneak aboard the Emperor's ship. They had one chance to make it work. As the battle raged on, Tom's ship, disguised as a piece of space junk, drifted closer to the Emperor's vessel. His heart was pounding, but he thought of Samantha and felt brave. Just as they were about to dock, an alien ship spotted them. "We've been seen," shouted Tom's co-pilot. The next few minutes were chaos. Alarms blared. Alien troops rushed towards them. Tom ran through the ship, dodging laser fire, desperately trying to reach the main computer. Back on Earth, everyone held their breath. The future of humanity rested on this one mission. Would Tom make it? Could Earth survive if he failed? The galaxy watched and waited. The next few moments would decide the fate of not just Earth, but the entire Galactic Empire. Tom Jones ran through the alien ship, his heart pounding. Lasers flew past him, barely missing. He clutched the small device with the virus, knowing everything depended on him. Just as he reached the main computer room, he was surrounded. Alien guards pointed their weapons at him. It seemed like the end. Suddenly, a voice boomed. "Stop." Everyone froze. From the shadows stepped a tall, green alien. It looked different from the others. "I am Zora," it said in perfect English. "And I want to help you." Tom was shocked. "Why would you help us?" Zora explained quickly. "Not all aliens agree with the Empire. Many of us have been waiting for a chance to fight back. Your Earth has given us that chance." With Zora's help, Tom uploaded the virus. Alarms blared throughout the ship. The plan was working. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen watched in amazement as hundreds of Empire ships suddenly stopped fighting. Some even turned against their own fleet. "It worked," she shouted. But how? The answer came soon. On every screen, Zora's face appeared. "People of Earth, and all free beings in the galaxy, today, we stand with you against the Empire's tyranny." It turned out Earth wasn't alone. As news of the humans' bravery spread, other alien races decided to join the fight. Ships from dozens of planets jumped into the battle, attacking the Empire. There was the Zorlax, blob-like creatures who could squeeze into tiny spaces. They infiltrated Empire ships, sabotaging them from the inside. The Pineri, a race of tiny but super-smart aliens, hacked into the Empire's computers, turning off weapons and life support. Even the Gronks, huge rock-like beings who usually stayed neutral, joined in. Their massive ships acted like shields, protecting the smaller Earth vessels. On Earth, people watched in awe as the sky filled with aliens. But this time, they were allies, not enemies. In New York, Samantha's mother, Sarah, worked with a team of Pineri. Their small size and big brains made them perfect for fixing Earth's damaged tech. "Samantha would have loved you guys," Sarah said, smiling as a Pineri fixed a complex machine in seconds. The Pinari squeaked happily. And we would have loved her. Her bravery inspired us all. In the Amazon, tribal warriors rode on the backs of friendly Gronks. Together, they pushed back the last of the Empire's ground forces. Chief Rowaney laughed as his Gronk friend, Korg, swatted Empire soldiers like flies. "I thought I'd seen everything," he said. "But this is beyond my wildest dreams." Up in space, the battle was turning. With allies from across the galaxy, Earth's fleet was winning. The Empire's ships were retreating or surrendering. Admiral Chen couldn't believe her eyes. Aliens of all shapes and sizes were working alongside humans, fighting as one. On the Empire's main ship, Tom and Zara led a group of rebels. They fought their way to the control room, determined to end this once and for all. As they burst in, they found Emperor Zix trying to escape. "It's over," Tom said, pointing his weapon at the surprised Emperor. Zix looked around, realizing he had lost. "How?" he asked. "How did you do this?" Tom thought of Samantha, of Earth, of all the new allies they had made. "We did it together," he said. "Something you never understood." As Zix was taken away, cheers erupted throughout the galaxy. The Empire had fallen. A new era of peace and cooperation was beginning. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen addressed the world. "Today, we are not just citizens of Earth," she said. "We are citizens of the galaxy. And together, we have shown that unity and bravery can overcome any obstacle." As the sun set on this historic day, humans and aliens celebrated together. The stars no longer seemed distant and scary. They were full of new friends and endless possibilities. Earth had not just survived. It had brought together a galaxy. And it all started with one brave little girl named Samantha, who dared to look up at the stars. 5 years had passed since the Great Battle. Earth had changed. The whole galaxy had changed. Today was a special day. The opening of the Galactic Peace Center in New York City. Tom and Sarah Jones stood in front of the huge building. It was shaped like a giant star, with parts that looked like they came from 100 different planets. Because they did. Samantha would have loved this, Sarah said, squeezing Tom's hand. He nodded, smiling through tears. Inside, the main hall was filled with beings from across the galaxy. Humans chatted with blob-like Zorlax. Tiny Pinari scurried between the legs of giant Gronks. It was a sight no one could have imagined just a few years ago. Admiral Sarah Chen, now the Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, took the stage. The room fell silent. "Friends, allies, fellow beings of the galaxy," she began. "Today, we celebrate not just peace, but a new beginning for all of us." She gestured to a group of young humans and aliens. "These children are the first graduates of our galactic exchange program. They have lived on each other's planets, learned each other's ways. They are the future we fought for." One of the children, a young human girl, stepped forward with a Zorlak child. Together, they pressed a button. Outside, a giant hologram appeared in the sky. It showed Samantha's face, smiling down at the city. "We named this center after Samantha Jones," the girl said. "Her curiosity and bravery brought us all together." Cheers erupted, not just in New York, but on planets across the galaxy. The hologram could be seen on every world. Later that day, Tom and Sarah visited a special room in the center. It was filled with inventions created by humans and aliens working together. Dr. Foster, now very old but still full of energy, showed them around. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a small device. "It can clean polluted water in seconds. The Pinari designed it, we built it, and the Gronks provided the special material." Sarah picked up another gadget. "And this?" "Ah," Dr. Foster grinned. "That can translate any language instantly, even animal languages. The Zorlax helped with that. Turns out they can communicate with almost any species." As they walked, they saw more amazing things. Spaceships that could fold into tiny boxes, plants that could grow on any planet, machines that could heal almost any injury. Outside, the city had changed too. Flying cars zipped between buildings. Some buildings were upside down, homes for aliens who preferred to live on ceilings. In Central Park, trees from 100 worlds grew together, creating a rainbow of colors. As night fell, Tom and Sarah joined a crowd in Times Square. People were looking up, excited. It was time for the first trip of Earth's new public space transport. A huge ship, big enough to carry 1,000 people, slowly descended. Its sides were clear, showing comfortable seats and even a restaurant inside. Next stop, Moon Hotel. A cheery voice announced, "All aboard for the 30-minute ride to the moon." People cheered as families, couples, and groups of friends boarded the ship. Visiting the moon was now as easy as taking a bus. As the ship took off, streaking into the night sky, Tom put his arm around Sarah. "You know," he said, "I think we did okay." Sarah nodded, watching the ship disappear into the stars. "More than okay. We changed the universe." High above, unseen but always remembered, Samantha's star twinkled. The curious little girl who looked up at the sky had started something amazing. Because of her, the people of Earth reached for the stars. And when they got there, they found not enemies, but a whole galaxy of new friends. Earth wasn't just part of the galactic community now. It was the heart of it, a place where all beings could come together, learn from each other, and build a better future for everyone. As the space bus disappeared from view, a shooting star streaked across the sky. In that moment, millions of beings on countless worlds made the same wish. For this peace, this unity, to last forever.